What do I tell the cameras?
What do you mean?
I mean, can we show someone being shot on live television?
We're on.
The peace of what had been called the Munich Olympics was shattered this morning.
September 5 takes on, you'd think, well-covered territory. The tragic events of the Munich Olympics of 1972, when a dozen Israeli athletes and coaches were held hostage by a group of terrorists calling themselves Black September. The events and their aftermath were the basis of Steven Spielberg's 2005 thriller, Munich.
Commandos have automatic weapons on the hostages. A deal had been made. Now the Israelis have disappeared.
Massive security force.
In front of it, the Arabs look like...
But September 5 has a different focus. It's how the hostage drama was covered on television, live as it happened, by people who seem to have no business doing it. ABC's sports team.
Nobody knows yet what is happening here, so we have to be very careful about everything we say on air. No offense, guys, but your sports, you're in way over your head. News should take over.
Well, the advantage a sports OB crew had over professional journalists was they were there. They had all the facilities of a major live event, including multiple crews covering various sports events from all angles. Now they had to pivot from sports drama to the real thing. And as far as head of ABC Sports Rune Arledge was concerned, there was no difference.
Okay, look, I know this isn't a responsibility that everyone wants. But does it make more sense to have a talking head from news take over from halfway across the world? Our job is to tell the stories of these individuals whose lives are at stake 100 yards away.
As played brilliantly by Peter Sarsgaard, Arledge sees his job as simply following the story minute by minute, wherever it may lead. And all the pressure is suddenly on one of the most junior people in the control room, the overnight director, Jeff Mason, played by John Magaro.
And we're clear. Great job, everyone.
Do you hear that?
Were those gunshots?
The overnight crew is very much the B team. Their job is keeping the seat warm until daytime and the big important sports events. But when shots are clearly heard, all that changes. Jeff and his boss, Marvin Bader, Ben Chaplin is the conscience of the film, find themselves on a war footing.
What's the situation?
The police are reporting that armed terrorists have attacked the Israeli athletes.
There's a hostage situation going on right now in the Olympic Village.
Worldwide television coverage was still in its infancy. The moon landing, the first big live global event, was a mere 3 years before. And September 5 shows just how primitive this early technology was.
We have a jam on cam 1. Cam 2 has a live shot of the balcony. Tower cam is an aerial view of the entire Olympic Village and can zoom in. And we got 60mm footage on tape machines 3 through 6.
For anyone who wasn't around television in the early 70s, the then state-of-the-art may look like early Doctor Who. Jeff Mason had access to a mere handful of cameras, some welded to the spot. Much of the coverage was coming from film cameras, whose 16mm footage was rushed back to the studio to be developed on the fly and then chopped up before going on air.
It's 50 and a 250.
All right.
4 fresh rolls, 50 daylight.
Okay.
All the action of September 5 takes place in the ABC facility, the crowded control room, the small studio where frontman Jim McKay, in actual historic footage, anchors the events, the editing suite down the corridor and so on. And like everyone at the time, we get our information from what shows on their screens and what's relayed by reporters on the ground, American and German.
Our job is to tell the stories of these individuals whose lives are at stake.
It's not okay if we made it worse.
It's a madhouse down here.
Which is where the fourth major character is all-important, one of the few Germans in the control room, journalist and translator Marianne, played by Leonie Benesch. Not only is she one of the few people who can tell what's going on, but she's all too aware of the historical significance.
You need to understand how sensitive this situation is.
These are just local cops doing things they have never done before.
The German authorities were extremely anxious to eradicate the memory of the previous Munich Olympics, Hitler's fascist 1936 version, which was why, fatally, the German army was forbidden to go anywhere near the Olympic Village, and the job of dealing with the terrorists was left to the hopelessly underprepared local police.
We're making broadcast history. More people have seen this than watch Armstrong land on the moon.
Now, police are on the roof.
Oh, guys.
That's a TV.
The German point of view of writer Moritz Binder and director Tim Fellbaum gives September 5 an unexpected perspective, and so does the realisation that we're watching the birth of something all too familiar. Round-the-clock, 24-hour-a-day news coverage was born this day.
Are they seeing what we're seeing?
What are you talking about?
Are the terrorists seeing this?
But above all, September 5 is just a terrific suspenseful thriller. There are people doing the best they can to bring an important story to the world and wrestling with the moral dilemmas involved for the first time. History is being made here in more ways than one. It's 90 minutes on the edge of your seat.
They know the whole world is watching. If they shoot someone on live television, whose story is that? Is it ours or is it theirs?